over this morning, and you saw it. The market is the Nasdaq is exactly green, like 0.02% after being down. I mean, it was over 1 point down. I don't remember exactly percentage-wise how low we got, but it was, yeah, about 1% to the downside. Get a big, massive reversal in just about everything. I mean, not everything is strong, but most things are strong. Energy taking a little bit on the chin. We've had some headlines as well, some potential resolution in Ukraine, which would be a good thing. Obviously, that might not be the best for oil and certain defense names.
A resolution in the war is bad for the markets. I mean,
it depends on the stocks, not all stocks.
No, but for the market, I'm saying in general, because I remember when they announced that war, the market like rallied for a while. It seems like it's like, I don't know.
I don't like Lockheed on that news.
No, I think it's great. I mean, we'd rather have,
well, of course, yeah,
absolutely no turmoil whatsoever. I don't know. We're $5. The trades that we actually have at the bottom are totaling about $12 in the money. Like, we still have the Tesla long, and, we put out an offer there. We went to the gym. We got 341s. And we actually didn't have any offers until 344. Those started filling. Then I came back and started taking more out here. My stop was actually a break at 342. That didn't happen. That was pretty lucky. We're using the 200 period moving average. But I mean, I was watching the midday show, and it's like they had such great talk and such great commentary, and I didn't even really they were talking about trades. They were trading a bunch of different ones. And then I looked down and they didn't have any positions. And I was thinking to myself, you don't need to have positions. If there's nothing happening, you don't need to do anything. And I was just going to say, you guys are watching the show, not necessarily for these winning trades. I mean, as we go, I'm always saying green or red on the day, but it doesn't matter if you're green or red on the day. Just these are the trades that we have on board, and this is what we're doing. And so whether or not you have these trades, whether or not you're short Tesla, you can win on everything. For me to sit here and say, can you take a look at this? It's great that it's happening. And it's great that we have these trades. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to prove a point that we can make money sitting here being traders. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if Neil's green or red. It doesn't matter if I'm green or red. It just matters that we're all here. We're giving some trade ideas. And if you take the ones that we take, hopefully they work out for you. And if they don't, they don't. I never even see, Neil, I'm the only one mentioning green or reds on days. People in the chat, they just love what we're doing. And that's all that matters. So if you want to know if we're green or red, you can ask us. We don't even display it, but these are the trades that we're in. And if you want to talk to me, this is Apple, $5 in the money, right? Same trade that we've had all day, still going, small percentage. Who cares how many shares I have left? Lyft, 2 for 2. SMCI, right? 3 for 3. I don't know why these charts are taking forever to load. TQs. We actually have a loss on the triple Qs. We talked about that. So that's an L. So that's 3 and 1. And then there's Tesla. So 4 and 1 today. Does it matter? No. Only matters to me. So that's part of what we're doing. You have to sit there and trade your own book, your own style, and hopefully turn out green. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Does it?
I care about one thing and one thing alone when I trade. I actually said this on the midday, because my best stock was very close to my worst stock, and it was because I broke a rule today. And I had this conversation with Brenkels because he was like, this and that's been good. And I said, I hate it. The one thing I hate the most is if you make a decision and are rewarded for breaking a rule. And I violated a major rule on Intel today, like a really, really big rule on Intel today. And it could have been really bad. It wasn't, but it could have been really bad. So for me, this was dumb on Intel. Now, it's easy to say, well, Neil, you said 2 things this morning, prior high and 21. And that's true. And ultimately, those have been real. I actually even tweeted, these are good prices to have traded at. But at 9:30 in the morning, when it's dropping like an absolute rock, sitting on the bid just because that's the price I liked and that's the price that worked before is a bad decision. And if it had bounced in the money, that would have been the end of the world. Because what would have happened is if it bounces, I then add to it again and then get a bigger stop out. Ultimately, it's going to end up working out. Just one note, a lot of times I would have trailed out of this position, but I'm letting it fly through the high because it broke a little bit of a trend line here, but I could draw this from the support and it hasn't broken that trend. So if I were to, here's another one for you. There. Just to give you an idea, let me just get rid of that trend line. I don't even know why I'm not respecting it. This is the one I'm respecting on Intel. From low to higher low, 4 points it's held this trend. Simple. If it breaks the trend, I want to be out of it. I'm green because of Intel today. However, this would have been would have been a too big of a loss, and that's what you have to respect. And I know this too. We talk about this at 9:30. 9:30 wicks are different, especially at the open. No matter how much I like an idea, sometimes the best entry points are going to come a few minutes after that open if you're willing to be patient with it. So let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, Palantir. We're going to go to Sharif in a quick little second. But Palantir's starting to come back into prior highs. So 116, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on Palantir. Okay, 5th time it broke, so technically it broke the 5th time. But support to resistance is a pretty easy concept. I was in it at 115.5, got it up to 116, and then stopped out break even. But Palantir is up 3.5%. I don't know if this is probably a symbol we're going to talk about anyways, but if it's going to come into 116, I do like this higher low as well. So continue the trend to the upside, and we'll see what happens. Nick W, we'll talk about Peloton when we come back. That's actually an interesting stock. I looked at the chart of that, not today, but
wasn't it near $10?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's go to Sharif because if.
Oh yeah, $10 was the top. Yeah, 10 to.
Yeah, you know what? It's so easy to get sidetracked on that because Peloton.
No, none of us get sidetracked around here.
Peloton's up like 7 days in a row, taking the 50 period. This looks like it could be on the midst of a little bit of a squeeze, like a little top end breakout here to retest the high. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
I do appreciate everybody in the chat. All right, what's up, Sharif?
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys are ready, locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers up on that board is to join Joe and I on the How to Trade show during the midday and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. We'll throw a few polls up there during the show, but you got to be a subscriber to get into the chat to vote. So make sure you're liking, subscribing, and please share the stream with someone you think may benefit from it. Here is a look at the triple Qs. All the 4 major averages right now, they're all red. The NQ faring the best out of the bunch, barely red. We're down 0.09. The ES is down almost 0.5%, with the Dow being over 0.5%, closing in on that 2/3% in the negative. And then the Russell 2000 faring the worst, obviously down about 1% as we got that higher than expected inflation print this morning. Small caps suffer the most from higher inflation and higher rates. So keep your eye out on that. Let's have a look at the number one ticker, though, as decided by you, SMCI. It was a earnings report yesterday. You can see the reaction there in the market. We still didn't even get the full report, though, guys. We're still waiting for that February 15th deadline coming in very soon.
Yeah, look, whether we get the report or not, I think the good news for us, SMCI, but what did Tesla do from these highs? It kind of lost 1/3 from the highs and is bouncing again. So history doesn't always repeat itself. But sometimes it does rhyme. I had 3 longs in Tesla. I was 1 for 3 on them, so we'll be green. But I held it into the high of the day when it pulled these like lower highs the entire way through. For the afternoon, I wouldn't want to be shorted unless it was 350.
1.5% in the negative is NVIDIA today, despite the fact that Evercore ISI analyst Mark Lipakis did add NVIDIA to its tactical outperform list with a buy rating and a price target of 190, guys. I want to remind you that this monster reports February 26th, and we're definitely going to have that, what's it called, an earnings party on the market recap show. Make sure to catch that with us, February 26th.
That's not too far now.
It's going to be the biggest
today.
It's the biggest earnings day, not because you're going to get like the crazy wealth of, this just went $1, that just went 15%. Like, it's not one of those types of days for
Bye-bye
NVIDIA.
Tesla.
But you have to understand,
Get it,
like,
Apple.
when NVIDIA reports, you know, ultimately it can move the entire market one way or another just based on sentiment. Everyone else has reported, everything else has been, all the big ones have been digested, and then NVIDIA has the ability to turn the NASDAQ on its head, but that's a ways away. I traded one breakdown trade on NVIDIA, but it wasn't a breakdown trade. Like, technically it's a breakdown trade, but I got it on the way up and not on the way down. So the level I like underneath prior highs, prior lows, I should say, when it broke down the prior lows, should have it on the way down, didn't, took it on the way back up, one shot, and now we're out. We took our hit on it. Ultimately, it's my worst stock, but it's not as bad as, it's obviously we're down less on this than we were on Apple or up on Intel. But what I like about it is you're down 1.5%. The market's flat. It's trending down. It's not that strong today. So ultimately, this is a bit of a flat bottom break here if you can take out these local lows. You've got 132 as resistance. I would caution that it also has a bit of a trend reversal as well. So if it breaks the trend, wait for 132. If it stays on trend, look for the bottom break on NVDA.
Some people asking there in the chat about Uber, $80. I honestly feel like the last 3 things we've bought, and last 4 things we bought have just been good buys, and it's making me nervous that maybe it just was too easy. Like, we bought Uber, we're long Uber 67. We bought Tesla. This is just yesterday. Like, I'm debating getting some out here. Like, it's only up $15, but we bought Tesla yesterday. Oh, and by the way, there's our 345. Yeah, $3.45 there, but it's actually a $7.50 winner. But it's a nice move to the upside. And I heard Sharif screaming about Apple. This is still $5. So that's $13 in the money as we speak. But, oh yeah, plus Lyft. Lyft is small. Oh yeah, we're talking about Uber and Lyft. Okay, NVIDIA. Look, I didn't trade NVIDIA today. I really like the stock. It just wasn't on my radar. There was nothing about it on the sticky note. We traded SMCI. SMCI is a big stock today. It's about as clean a chart as you're ever going to see for me on NVIDIA. It's so clean, I didn't even clean up this wick. Like, I didn't look at it today. It's down 1.5%. I'm a little nervous about it, honestly. Like, we picked some up on deeps. Whoops. We picked some up on, that's because our charts don't show the split. We picked some up on DeepSeek down here, and it bouncing quite nicely right here off the 50-period moving average. Damn, Daniel, those are some nice, what is it, white Vans? Is it Vans? Those white Vans. What's up, Juan Velasco? Sharif, go talk about Apple, and then we'll talk about the winner.
You know, I don't have to be invited to talk about Apple. Sean, there it is right now at the high of the day, 236.20, up 1.5%. Good day yesterday, good continuation today. The reason it was moving up yesterday is because we got word that they were teaming up with Alibaba to launch their Apple Intelligence in China. That is a requirement by the Chinese government that they have a local partner there. Separately, today, we got more headlines from them that they're intending on bringing Apple TV Plus to Android phones in order to boost subscribers, guys, adding to that $100 billion a year services revenue that they have manifesting over there.
I mean, look, we were in Apple early, man. It was 8:30. It's 8 and change. We liked it. We saw that CPI move to the downside there. We know the Fed's not in control of anything anymore, so I wasn't too worried about it. We thought that it would make the move back up. Obviously, and, to your point, Jay Lee, the reason why the market rallied is because what I just said. The Fed is basically irrelevant now. Like, I'm pretty sure that Trump will just do whatever he wants and have a little meeting with Fed Chair Powell. And if he doesn't listen, then he'll be out the door. But at the end of the day, 236.50, and then there's just bigger things happening right now in the economy. Like, it's like we already know there's no rate cut happening or rate hike for at least a little while. And as long as that stays where it is, then this kind of a move down is going to be temporary, especially when you're talking about hopefully that ceasefire in Ukraine, and then you're just hearing more and more things about tariffs maybe being either levied or just taken, and we'll figure out what happens next. Like, the US and some of these companies remain pretty strong. And then also Apple today got that note from one of the analysts there, Meng-Ji Wong or something like that.
Quote Minji.
Quote the Raven nevermore. But it just goes the upside. So we were long, still huge. We're just going to watch it go. I mean, we had said that we were $13 in the money. I mean, things are just getting better for us as we hold these longs. Tesla still continues to pump and Lyft is going the other way. So we've got the shorts on board. We've got the longs. We're just having a great time one more time here today. Yeah, so Apple, I'm not going to be getting out of that anytime soon. BQC, oh, I thought that took 100K, but
It did not take 100K. Look, I didn't trade Apple. I think, look, yesterday was Apple and Alibaba day. Today was actually Apple and Alibaba day, but unfortunately, I got out of Baba at VWAP when it was downward trending, so it wasn't. It could have been better than Intel today. There's no question about it, but it wasn't. Yesterday felt like, I don't know. It felt like yesterday was easier, but when you look at it, it wasn't. Like from a technical standpoint, this was actually stronger, yet didn't get the reload. Now I wasn't here when it made this dip. I was here. I wasn't sitting at my desk when it made this obvious reversal move. Right in, like that's an obvious reversal move. You have bottom wick underneath a prior high, and then you just go into an upward trend. But if you're not sitting at your desk, that's a very quick move that happens in a couple of minutes, and you got to punch into it. So I was waiting for VWAP that entire time with a bid, and it just never got there. I love Alibaba. I think I feel a little bit differently between Alibaba and Apple, as I feel good about Apple. Alibaba, I have this sneaky suspicion that you're gonna have to weather a bit of a pullback again on Alibaba at this $120 level. But that's about it. It's been gold here. I had made zero decision as to whether I didn't take profit on Alibaba last time it did this, and I still haven't decided yet, to be honest with you. I'll probably think about it on the train tonight. You see what we saw. Like went 120, 70 to 120 to 180 to 120, and it almost went up this fast last time. It was a little bit faster. So it wouldn't surprise me, although I'd like to think it can hold a higher low if we do another dip. And if you take some profit, you might be able to buy the 100s again, or the 50 period will be a little bit higher on Alibaba. So good luck for them. I was a little bit surprised that Baidu was also up, because Baidu, in theory, did not get the deal with Apple because Alibaba did, but Baidu's also up. That's surprising to me. They might be a fade at some point. I don't know.
All right, Bitcoin. I mean, we talked about it earlier at that 92 to 94 area. It looks like there was some kind of support. Let's go find out more about BTC.
Interesting movement today, Sean. Once we got that CPI print in the morning, we tanked, dropped aggressively into that 94, 93 and change. We recovered. Best we could do, though, was 97.5. We're a little bit off the highs right now. Here's a look at IBIT as well, trading at about $55, up 1 1/3. Yeah, Fed Chair Powell was in front today of the hearing committee in the House of Representatives, and he had some comments about Bitcoin. He said, "We don't want to get in the way of banks serving perfectly legal customers using crypto. When banks take crypto activities on their own, it's appropriate to make sure we understand the risks. On the other hand, we don't want to go so far as to overplay your hand. Many of these activities on crypto can be very well done at banks." I don't know. How do you perceive that? Bullish or bearish?
I'm always. You know what? Like, this is a weird thing to say. Bitcoin has been, since it made the all-time high, it's been trending back down. IBIT's underneath the 50-period moving average. It's stuck in a range. I think it's likely to be range bound. I agree with Michael Moss about that. I can't speak to any of the other coins out there. Frankly, I'm not involved in them. And I don't have any issue if I know it's 88 to 92,000. So that's the deal. But here on IBIT, you can see that's the low 50s and now the higher low at 54. It's perfectly fine if you're in this consolidation. There is nothing wrong with it. We did this before, and it was a very, very long consolidation that you're rewarded with the breakout in. And as a matter of fact, it actually was making successive lower highs this is March, and we broke out in November. And it was making lower highs for 2/3 of that time before it rounded the bottom and broke out the top. So why wouldn't we have an entire first half of the year where we're just sideways and you're buying? I thought would be I was wrong. I thought it would be in the mid 80s, which would be a little bit lower, but the bottom of the range is higher. You're buying it in the high 80s and the 90s, and you're taking it to the top. And I think we break out, but it could just be the second half of the year. That's the only reason why I was on the little Sharif bet there for his birthday. I sort of thought that it wouldn't get there. It was 125, I think it was, by Sharif's birthday in May. That's mostly because I think we have a bit of a longer consolidation happening for us. But if you break the 50 period, there's probably a nice little short-term swing to the top.
We got to have another piece here of Tesla as we reached a 345.50 right there again. So I mean, this one, it's having a hard time up at the top right now. So I mean, yeah, that's again another fit. We got out 345, but it's having a problem here at the top. That was the 343. You know, we were talking about dropping them. Now I guess you know what? I still have the stop order in there. I think we'll cancel it now. I got to change the price of it because and we're getting out of more and more shares. Like I put the stop order in, and we already have 3 out since then. So we're being a little conservative right now. All right, so we'll get out of maybe a third of what we have left. We have about 7 or 8% now of this trade left. We were getting out of some more lift right now as well. Look, I dropped down the Bitcoin chart earlier, and I sort of talked about what we needed to find and what we needed to have happen. It was down there into that 91, 92 area. I mean, that was a great buy. There it is right there earlier. It got to 94, it looks like, depending on where you're looking, but that's 94.1, 94.5. That's been a great support area. So as long as it holds that, I think you're fine. I mean, you know, I think crypto could easily test back into 70. It's just a matter of what the NASDAQ does. If you're a bull in the market right now, then crypto will be fine. If you're a bear in the market right now, then you should probably short Bitcoin. I think you're going to get a better return on a Bitcoin short than you would in the market short if you are feeling bearish in the space. I'm not. I'm bullish right now. So, all right. So that's what it is. Again, thank you for the rundown. All right, great stocks there today. Lyft, it looks like right now on earnings, I mean, they were crushed earlier. I've got a good position in Uber. So we're watching out for that, but we want to always trade catalysts. And again, this was on our sticky note. So boom, down, made money. It was always a positive stock for us. No problem at all for Lyft today. It does hold that 1350 area. It was a great trade. And then once we came back, again, we weren't here, we're at the gym, came back, it's underneath the 50 period moving average. We saw that fail, then we saw it hold. So again, man, we talk about being a trader. There it is. That's the decision we made. Hold. We could have reloaded it there. I'm not really in the reloading mode right now. We can try to hold on to some of these positions and just get lighter and lighter. We're already at like a great level for us today. As far as you know, where we've hit our daily goal and exceeded that. So we're very similar to a net that we were at yesterday, and we talked about how that was one of our best days net wise. So we're doing it again today, and we just hope that this Lyft trade will work out for us. But the problem with this is you're still over VWAP. So that VWAP is still 1330. If it gets into that, you can't even see it when I zoom in. If it gets into that, then we'll just try to cover it all. It's an earnings play above VWAP. Any kind of a move down there, we'll at least get out of probably like 70% of what we have left. So right now I am bidding some 40s. We already got that good fill there. If it comes back, great. Then the majority of them like 31s or 32s, you know, that's the trade there on Lyft. And then I already told you where my Apple stop was, 24s. So right into here, well, now it's moving up, but I was using the 200 period. So 235.25, that's where that is stopped. So yeah, again, great day. Not much else to go over right now for me. We'll look to get into the TQQs maybe a bit. Futures are pretty flat there today, obviously as a triple levered ETF. And then SMCI, that's already been a good stock, but kind of barcoding. And we will talk more about some stocks. We have Reddit coming through. There's lots of good names today.
Absolutely, that's the thing. There's lots of awesome names today. I'm actually shocked that BlackBerry is one of the stocks that's moving a lot. We got our market depth on eSignal. So the entitlement came through. So I'll figure out, because I haven't used, we got a question the other day, and I know we talk about eSignal all the time. We got a question the other day specifically about the imbalance locator on eSignal, in which we don't have to use it on eSignal because it's on our platform here at Real Trading. But I did figure out that it's somewhere in the market depth, which I have entitlements to, and I'll see if I can figure that out for you. If you're having trouble, the other thing you can always do if you're ever using eSignal, just ask. Like, they have a really good customer service, and I know people like, oh, it's tedious, I don't want to do it. Someone else figure it out for me, which is fine. And if I figure it out and someone asks, I'll let you know. But no, seriously, they're really good. They're fantastic, and you know, it's a pretty good platform. But on the note of BlackBerry, because BlackBerry's up a bunch today, I wanted to pull up the weekly chart. Like, it's at resistance on this weekly. You go back to That's 2023. It's got a double top that it's trying to punch through right now at about 575 on BlackBerry. So this is what happened earlier when it punched through. Bit of a reversion. It's punching through again. If it loses this level on a curl, I want to look to short it into VWAP. So it's, you see that 575. I think if it reverts this move up, this last move up underneath that 575, I'd look for some kind of a curl. We actually have free locates on this name. Okay, Baba. I'm going to get rid of my Alibaba chart because I said if it's not moving by this time of day, if you start barcoding in the afternoon on the Chinese ADR, I'm going to anticipate there might not be any moves left in it. And AIFF apparently making a bit of a push. Is that true? Yes, it is. Someone asked in the chat while Sean was talking, would you short this move into the high on Firefly? My answer is no. I tried it breaking out on VWAP. It actually went like 40, 50 pennies in the money. But let's just say I was kind of hoping it would do a little bit more than that. But the volume came right out of it. Like, let's get out. It could have been an easy short when it lost VWAP, but it's still above that $10 level where all that selling was in the afternoon. I'd rather look for longs this afternoon. You know, it's holding on to VWAP. I'd look to be buying dips in Firefly. At some point, someone's going to get the top of this thing, and they're going to make a boatload if they get the top. But before that happens, there's likely a lot of other people that go short that get absolutely rinsed. That's how these things tend to go. Like, maybe you catch that big high. We saw it with, like HKD has done this before. Maybe not this, maybe crazier to a certain extent. Veru did things like this. So you want to be very careful when you're shorting them. Have a plan of action. That's all. Like, if you have an out and there's liquidity around your level, you know, no worries. I tried shorting it yesterday. I feel like I got away with one for a small win. But, you know, today I'd rather look for the buy off of VWAP if it can hold it again. That's where we tried to buy once. Right, so the only thing I'm in right now is Intel. I said simple trail on the day-long trend. It's basically, it's riding it right now. So this prior support underneath the 15s, if it loses that, that's a break of trend, and I would wait for VWAP, which coincidentally is the exact same price that we've been buying it. I've only bought Intel at two places, 2180-ish, sometimes like 77, 78, and 21 even. And now VWAP's that price, so suffice to say, if it gets to VWAP, that's the same price as before. Oh, and another note. Remember losing yesterday, shorting Intel when it tried to break 21? If not for that, when everything else was breaking down, Intel held 21, probably wouldn't have had the 21 long. So it pays to be looking at stocks that are in play. Whether you trade it or not, it gave you information that there were buyers on 21 yesterday when the short didn't work, and that informed you that the 21 long was an opportunity here today. So you always want to pay attention to these levels that get rejected. Palantir 110 is a good example of that as well.
All right. Let's just look. If there's anything, yeah. Oh man, that big bear. That was one that will forever be missing. Yeah, pretty much. I think.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, it is.
$10.
Yeah, it is.
BBAI, there it is right there at 956. So again, I talked about this earlier today at 7 and change. I actually, you know, not being, if I wasn't on the show, I might have been more thinking about it. It doesn't matter. I can still put the buy in. It's just an excuse at the end of the day. But I like this name, and I thought that the pullback there today was something. But again, it just, I'm missing some data here. I don't think it was halted, but we were down there near 780. And then a nice move back up there on BBAI. So it just kept on going the rest of the day up to $10. And then now you're right at this level again. And if we zoom back out, you'll see, it just might take a minute, but $10 has been a level here on Big Bear AI. It's going to take a minute. Or maybe it was only $5. Maybe we haven't been up here before. Hold on a second. I'm going to call it up on eSignal, be a little bit quicker than what we were doing. Yeah, maybe Big Bear's never been up here. Maybe, yeah, maybe it hasn't. And this could be another stock. It could have been that $5 mark. So we're already way off. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. Ooh. All right, good. Still got something here. Yeah, so there it was. So the $10, I was starting to get nervous. I was like, why is our charts not showing it? But there it is right there. So it had its day before. Remember, there's no splits involved with Big Bear AI. This is just what it is. And it's trying to go through this level right there, right now of $10.
Is that a SPAC?
Could have been a SPAC. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, hovering around 10. Yeah, sure. Yes, this was a SPAC probably. So D-SPACs, just like DWAC did. And then DWAC, of course, DJT. You know, you could add DJT around $10, $11, right? And that would have been DWAC, as we all know, DWAC, Digital World Acquisition Corp. But there it is, the move down there, and then all the way back up. Like when you look at DJT on the weekly chart, you'll see what I'm talking about. There it is, right? So we start at $10, $14. It has a $10 base. Then it gets announced, I guess, that it was going to be Trump's, and then it gets all the way up to 175, and then it comes right back down. Obviously, this is when it was DWAC, DWAC. You guys will remember that, I hope. And then it gets de-whacked all the way to the downside here, right back into $10, which we were calling this whole time down. I was trying to call this. Everyone was listening. It's just I mean, Joe would know, the cost of, well, he probably wasn't looking at this, but the cost of options and everything for $10 was pretty obvious. And then it just gets back up to the upside. And this is the most recent moves that we've all been talking about here. This goes back to 2024 in March. We had a nice move up and then another move up, I believe. I think that was maybe assassination attempt or something, up to $54, $55. And then now you're holding, which is pretty good actually right here, the 200 period moving average. So no matter what we say about DJT, it's actually not looking horrible. There's many worse stocks than this. That is for sure.
So you get those 52-week high and lows to show on your chart.
You go like this. You go right like this. Neil's asking about how do you get these to go, right? So then you go edit chart, and then it goes into here. Then you go to chart properties, my guy, and then right into here, 52-week high and lows. You will also notice that you can indicate dividends. And this is the thing about this, earnings,
I love this.
splits, all of that stuff, memos, rollovers. I mean, they have everything on here. You can show, like, so I don't have the description up here. You can get it to say Donald J. Trump up here. I don't have that necessarily, so show description. Those are just, see, there it goes. So it shows it up here. Anyways, very, very customizable.
That's what I was saying I was just saying just now, like,
notify me about news.
Sometimes you can just ask somebody else to do it. See, I could have gone to eSignal Help, or I can just change my chart and apply it.
Yep.
As well. So now I have.
I mean, I am live eSignal Help sitting right beside you.
Yeah, there you go. But that's what it's all about. Like, I like without having to glance, because how many times you look at a chart, where is the 52 below? You're doing all that nonsense. No, just make it simple on yourself.
It's not like it's anything special. It's easy to. It's nice to have it there.
You know what though?
I'm always looking at 52-week breaks.
You want your tools to work for you, and so if it makes it a little bit easier to know where the actual price that matters is, then who cares? Just go ahead and do it. I think we're going to the desk with Adara.
Potentially.
AMD's flying.
Here on the market, Fed's Goolsby talking here still too, saying that inflation data today is concerning, but it's only 1 month. It's worth noting earlier today, Fed's Goolsby said that if this trend continues, like what we saw with the higher than expected core CPI print for January, then it'll show that the Fed hasn't done enough work in inflation. But now just a couple hours later, he's emphasizing this is only 1 month's worth of data, guys. Back to you.
Message, I forgot. We were going back and forth with Chef Joe earlier on. He had sent me some pictures of food, so I'm gonna wait. He's celebrating some big things there, and he wants to celebrate. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna try to come up here. So I just don't know if he's in. I don't want to show it until he's on because
supposed to do pineapple pizza.
I know, but it was too cold. I didn't go out and get it. We could order the pineapple.
But we could do it on Friday, if you.
We had to film that stuff, and then we were like, I was gonna go walk and get it, and then we could order it in. It's 3 o'clock now.
Oh, I don't know. We also just do it on Friday. Friday's kind of the day we do like pizza,
Randy's not here,
that kind of stuff.
But I did say we were going to do it. We could do the pineapple pizza. We could still do it.
Just for the record, everybody, it's only happening because we had 500,000. You guys got us to 500,000.
Yeah, and we got a super chat, so we got
a super chat for it. Otherwise, there would be no eating of pineapple pizza because, I mean, as Sean knows, as an Italian, that's not real pizza. What is really amazing is AMD.
Real.
No, it's true.
Yeah. I mean, it's still real pizza. Is it not preferred pizza?
Is it really?
I mean, I can look up the definition of pizza.
I don't know. As long as it's like, what is it? It has to have tomato sauce.
It might not. I think pineapples would be better actually if it was just absolute, like if you kind of stripped it of everything. It's almost like you like a little bit of oil there. You had the pineapple. I don't know what else to throw on it. I talked about jalapenos and peppers. I was going to get that.
Someone said that yesterday.
I'm not getting the Hawaiian. I'm getting it with banana peppers. Yep.
Then that makes it a little bit better.
I'm thinking even
down with all.
I don't know if the olives would counteract it. But okay, I was looking at BBAI, and I mean I'm with everybody there. I just feel like sick to my stomach that we don't have that long, but it doesn't really matter. It's really holding the 50-period moving average. It's also holding VWAP as well. So it's a huge move to the upside. This little, again, when things gap, I'm missing data here. I probably have to just close and reopen the chart, so I apologize. But when you have this move up there and it's up 21%, you do like to play back to VWAP. We talk about that all the time. So that's just a missed opportunity right there at $9. So I don't know if we're going to get that again. And when you get it again, it might not be that good because it's coming crashing into it. So that's where you have to take that risk. That's what we did on SMCI when SMCI came crashing in to VWAP early, or into, I don't know, it wasn't VWAP. SMCI was way under that. But right here, when it came crashing into our 41 level, we were like, you got to be careful when that happens. It's different if it just levels off and it's bouncing off of 41, right? Comes crashing in, you got to give it a little bit more room. So for Big Bear, I mean, breaking 75 is fine. We can just go long on the high of the day. The only problem here is that if you're going to be responsible about trading, and I think you don't want to just necessarily punch the high of the day and not have a responsible out. Well, that is for me 30 cents away. So, that's probably a little too far. Like, I'd rather wait to see if there is a pullback. This is almost the furthest it's been away, right, from its 50-period moving average all day for Big Bear. Right? I mean, it had to move there, retraced. Had to move here, retraced. Had to move here, retraced. Had to move here. Hold on a second. Retrace.
It will not retrace.
Retrace. I have no idea what it says. But at the end of the day, yeah, I think that's probably the wise thing. So I'm going to bid it. I'm going to bid 950. Let's bid down here 950 on Big Bear. We won't necessarily use the 50 period exactly because that's only at 945. So we got to give it more than 5 cents. But, a pullback, I think we can give it 25 cents. I think that's pretty reasonable. These bottoms are 925. So yeah, I think 950. Let's start the bidding for BBAI. What's up, Taylor? This is just a 1-minute chart if you are asking about what I'm using.
What's up to, okay, so before I get to the super chat, AMD's already rolling over. So if you were going to take a reversion trade on this move on AMD, you would have already done it.
So good.
Let's look to see where it can bounce. I'll do the super chat in a second. So prior high was 111. That looks reasonable to me. Like somewhere in the 111, maybe to like this 1080 range. If it gets to VWAP, that's too big of a reversion. But AMD, which was just programmed buying to the upside, starting to pull back. My trail is at the 15 mark on Intel. And thank you for the super chat there. Jesus, Jerry, vodka, pineapple, and jalapenos. Fair enough. And for the record, someone said you should try it. It's not that bad. I'm a firm believer in, I will never say I don't like a food if I've never had it. I tell that to my daughter all the time. I go, look, you know what? If you try it and you don't like it, I have no issue with that. But if you don't tell me it's disgusting if you've never eaten it, or that you don't like it if you've never even tried it. That's sort of one of my, it doesn't really grind my gears, but it'll get me a little bit. It's like, you've never even had it. How can you say it's not good? But I have many times, and I don't necessarily like it. So BlackBerry, if it breaks the trend, I'm going to go short, but I'm just going to do that. Don't have to pay for locates on BlackBerry. Actually wasn't sure, so we just tested free shorts on this. If we break this trend line, which is all day long on BlackBerry, until this with 1, 2, like 3 times it's now tested it. We break under, I'm going into that short. What else? Palantir is very gently breaking through the high. Like very, very gently breaking this top.
Palantir doesn't do too much gently though.
Well, right now it is. See, like it broke 117. What's the high? 14. It went like a couple of cents. 23 is not. I had 23 as a high. It looks like 14 is the actual high, and it hasn't really busted through on any volume. This could just be a buy the dip kind of play as well. So AMD looks like a buy the dip on trend. Palantir looks like it can be one at 116, although I would grant you AMD is the one that looks like it's giving you some kind of a dip right now, whereas Palantir still kind of teasing that high of the day.
So the Apple trade, I mean, a lot of things aren't doing too much. So we are like $1 lower on Apple. I'm gonna scrap that. 236. So we're just gonna cancel this. If this breaks below here, I just don't want to be lulled to sleep right now, like it's kind of sort of happening. So I don't, let's just try to get some action going. If this breaks 236, we're out. Now I don't want that to happen, but at least it will indicate more to me about maybe what's happening. So there you go. 235.99, small piece left of Apple. But the good thing about Apple is that we did still have a decent amount on as this was happening. So boom goes the dynamite, right? You got to have something on, and we did for that. you know, this is also starting to get, you know, a little bit. That's 343. I just want to make sure where my stop is. My stop is 341. So we can change that and put the stop right now at 343. So again, all right. So we have, let's just say for argument's sake, we have 2 units on Tesla. Just talk about what we're going to do. It doesn't matter, actually. We're going to get out of a third of the trade of what we have left. So if we break the 200 period, we do want to get out of it. But we've been really responsible with this trade, right? I mean, it came back in. We talked about where our outs were. We were pretty lucky to be saved and not have to pay the piper by getting punched out there at 350, 336. So we had dropped it down another 50 cents, saved us, able to get it out green after all this on Tesla, then hold that special piece, and we did. We probably held about half, get it all up here into 344s. And you know, when I left to go to the gym, I told you guys like we were at 341, which is what we were, and then I said we're at 344s. We got filled right there when we got back, and then I actually sat back down, and then I punched this because I was like, oh my God, what if that's the top? Then I put another. You see, you can tell when I'm back sitting down, you know, every time, because there's me getting filled. There's me getting nervous because we went down and came right back up. Then there's me putting another out at the day's high. And then what? We don't do any trading for 40 minutes. And then all of a sudden, we're in and out of about 20% of our position within 15 minutes at these highs. And then once again, oh, what a surprise. It goes right back to the highs and your boy gets more out. And then again, breaks to 50. Well, you know I'm here now. And then out here at 345 again at the highs. So this is called, in my opinion, responsible trading. It's really helped with all of this. And, you know, you can't have the winners, right? I mean, it's like what you mentioned there on Palantir about being flat or whatever on Palantir. It's like, you know, you got to follow your own rules. But like this one, if you're following the 50 period moving average, very, very choppy. This hasn't broke. I'm missing all this data here. So these lines might not even be accurate.
Close it and open it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do that once I pass it back. But at the end of the day, I think the lines are fine. It's just this has nowhere near VWAP.
The VWAP will be wrong.
Yeah, because there's missing all this volume from the open. Well, I actually got, yeah, so I'm going to close that and reopen it. But at the end of the day, it's like if a stock is long, it's kind of easy to trade it with the market doing this. It's when the market does this is when you have to have that plan of action. So that's why we're breaking down our stops. We consider, and we had Brian Shannon on yesterday, and I really, really take from him, I mean, and just consider myself to be a risk manager because sure, we can have all these big trades on every day. And again, doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it is what matters is share size. And if you're able to manage that and take the right shares at the right time, then everything else is whatever. It's easy to work your way out of winning trades, right? It's tough to work your way out of losing trades, which is why we're always so nervous when we have these winners to manage them because it's like, okay, when it loses, we get stopped out, right? I mean, boom, no problem. We get stopped out. That's it. We're red on it. And we just go ho-hum. That's what happened. We move on to the next one. But it's when we have these winners, it's like, okay, now how do we deal with it? Where are our stops? You know, where do we get out? It's like right now I have an out right now at 347 on Tesla. Why? Because we've just taken too many out right now. As we get into the high of the day, great trading right here for Tesla. Let's wait for 347 and reward ourselves. So that's what we're doing right now. Neil, we're almost at 2 or 3 times our daily goal. We're having the best day. We actually have more money today than we were up yesterday. It's an absolutely fantastic day. But enough about me. Let's throw it over to you.
Well, BBI isn't about to break $10. Like, it sucks, unbelievable. I thought you were in BBAI. Never mind.
No, I was waiting for that. I mean, I wish I was.
You
I
know
was
what?
waiting for that pullback.
So my water's blocking the.
Oh,
we
no.
have a program monitor, and I saw the other position, and I looked over, and I was like, no, because hey, it doesn't really matter.
No, but it did take out the high of the day. It's a good call to take that long.
Well, no. I wasn't going to take the long. I just, for some reason, I saw an extra position over there. My water bottle was blocking it. The BBAI is on an absolute tear.
Went down to 62.
So you can see, there you go. You can see that's what I'm always looking at. And this blocks sometimes. You know what? Just because I saw the Vegemite, actually, somebody sent me, one of our viewers
I
sent
thought
me
it
a
was doing
video.
less on the board, man. What the hell?
Someone sent me a video. There's this dude who has like millions of views on YouTube who did a video on Vegemite, which I have to watch because someone said it's like, what? It's literally, what is Vegemite?
Not me.
and I haven't watched it yet.
Nothing to do with me.
What I want to get to. No, so you're obviously breaking out here on BBI. That is an absolute powerhouse. I don't know if you're going to be able to buy dips
Well, I
there.
gotta log in.
There's probably a 10 break on this. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys the e-signal, and that's still on BlackBerry. But there's probably a 10 break on this. I haven't had a look at the level. Right now, when I drop it down, there's not a lot on the offer, but it's done 125 million shares. Personally, I wouldn't short it. And in a weird thing, if there's more on the offer, sometimes that's even better for the break. I know that's a bit counterintuitive, but I want to respect that. Still no breakdown on BlackBerry. Palantir, as I said, I would rather buy a dip than try to, like, I'm not sure where you work into a long when it's doing this. Like, if it dips down into some prior support, get some kind of a pullback, and then you can play with it. AMD is still in its dip. I got this one up. Like, ever since this parabolic move up, which is all green candles on the 3, it's all red candles. Still hasn't gotten to that prior high of 111. Oh, this top 111.20 and then 111 even in here. So until we get there, if it's all red, I'm not even thinking about the long until we at least get to the 111, and it's halfway back in as well. If there's anything else you guys see that's moving, like when I look up at my patented trade rate here, it's got, I don't even know what FINMY is, FINMY, and NVIDIA, SPY, BITF, SMCI, BBAI, so that's about right. I don't even know what this top name is, but I looked up NVIDIA.
That's going to be a pink sheet name.
Yeah, but
Oh, maybe that's Fannie Mae one. It's probably not. Let me check it out.
I don't know what it is. NVIDIA is not really doing that much, so even though it's the top of the list, I like the fact that AMD's been moving a little bit more. Otherwise, we usually look at NVIDIA instead. So looking for the reversion here into AMD, if it happens. Same thing with BlackBerry. Nothing much has changed. I have a trail on Intel. I'm not punching along if it breaks out this high on Intel. There's overhead resistance on the daily, so I'm not going to take that long, but I am going to look to buy a dip if it breaks the trend, either at 22 or at VWAP. That's about it. What else we got going on here?
So yesterday, I mean, right now Tesla's at highs, and we only have a $9 winner going on, so it's just a little bit of this. Oh, you guys want to know what was for lunch? Sad days around here because we are switching. I don't know if sad days or not. I'm happy with it. I always feel bad when a business loses a client, but we are switching over caterers starting on Monday. So you're going to get a little bit of a different feel for what is for lunch. But today was chicken pot pie. I saw it looked like there was some sort of fried rice potentially with it. I don't have the menu, but that's what it looked like. And then I had egg salad on the salad. What did you have?
A little too much egg salad.
Oh, you had egg salad. Okay, too. Ramin had tuna on it, but I dare not ask to take hers because I did not. No, I don't want to start anything. I don't want to start anything, Ramin. You know what I mean? You know what Ramin?
She said it was raw tuna. Obviously, it was not.
Well, but you can eat raw tuna.
No, but they wouldn't put that on. It wasn't.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, the finest tuna is eaten raw.
It's a good source of protein.
Okay, so I would host a show here.
I would prefer the tuna salad on my salad than the egg salad. By the way, Ramin is basically saying, how can you have tuna salad every single day? I would prefer that than the egg salad every single day. Easily. I'll take it.
The new caterer is on watch. We will do that. Yeah, I just tell people what I want, and then it generally happens with the caterer. So if you have any requests, please put them in, and then you will hopefully get that. Yeah, Pro Jake here, it's just a $9 winner, but we will just move off of that. Okay, so we also have $6 on $5.50 on Apple, but we've already talked about where our stops are. So I did. Funny thing is, I logged in and out of the charting, and yeah, so the middle of this reappeared. But Apple, I'm assuming, was not halted in the middle of the day there. But I lost now about 20 minutes of data there, and I'm not worried about it at all. I don't feel like that would have affected anything. So I'm just going to keep the charts like this because the next time I open them and close them, I don't want to miss more value right there. There's Chef Joe. Okay, what's up, Chef Joe? Yeah, man. I mean, I know that you're all about this. So you just mentioned it to me in the chat here about what you're doing exactly. So, all right, I'm going to get them all loaded up here. open them up in new tabs so I don't like dox ourselves here. That's a word that I learned, I think, from Pratt or something like that, doxing ourselves. All right, so open image in new tab. I think that just means like giving like away your email address or something. All right, so Chef Joe has messaged me. What's up, Chef Joe? Thank you for coming on the recap show a couple weeks ago. I really appreciate that. We had a lot of fun, Adara and I, with you, and potentially you can come back on very, very soon. All right, Chef Joe, here we go. So this looks like a excellent little. Is this a rustic tomato soup? I'm not sure. I don't think you actually mentioned what all of this was to me. He just said he can't wait for the get together, so we cannot wait to meet up with you. So that is Exhibit A. Please, everybody, if you're
a cook, damn.
Yeah, he's gonna cook. Oh yeah, he's gonna cook. Well, we're gonna take Chef Joe out.
Lobby.
That's for that. So there goes Chef Joe. So thank you for that. If you do want to find out what all this is, please enter the chat, and we will be able to tell you what all of these are. Chef Joe will be able to. And then here's the money maker right here. So this is the ribeye that we all about right here. I told you that my favorite side was mushrooms. That looks like that may be it. Looks like you got a little sprinkle of salt on there. This is exactly what we're talking about. And then the coup de grace, after all said and done, why not just slice it and dice it? And there it is right there. Basically cooked to perfection. This is exactly how I do it, man. I pan fry the steak, then throw it in the oven. You get it looking like this. Chef's kiss, Chef Joe. So there it is right there, man. Get up here to Toronto, and we'll go to, well, we'll get any fare that you would like. But if it's a steakhouse you are looking for, we have some in mind.
There's a few good ones. We got a few good ones in here.
And as the 51st state, you can use your US dollars up here. And the thing about it is the US dollar goes a hell of a long way. Actually, Chef Joe, you're paying. Because you know what? Like US dollar, you can get $1.40 Canadian for $1 US.
I'm surprised.
And that's after getting ripped off on the exchange.
I'm surprised it hasn't made that run to 150 yet. It's always been like a psychological, not psychological, but there's, I don't know, if you look at Forex Canada US, which if you're Canadian, we tend to pay attention to, that 140 level has been a thing multiple times for sure. I would suspect that US dollar strength is going to continue. I'm not like that. But yeah.
You just worry about the stock market.
No, of course. But I mean, at the end of the day, like if you know, for some of the goals you want, if you want trade deficits to come back down, you don't necessarily want all that dollar strength.
Right.
Yeah, it can get too strong if you're worried about your deficit.
I'm taking some out on Tesla.
So we are getting a reversion. Just close the bar on AMD, and we're going to go into, we're going to go into the long. BlackBerry is also trying to do one underneath. So simultaneously, one's going down underneath day-long support, and the other one is going or attempting to go up. Like BlackBerry's kind of already done this reversion here. That's all day long. Since the open to now, BlackBerry is now just breaking trend. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the news. It was QNX something. It doesn't really matter for BlackBerry. You're trading it on technicals anyways. Like I wouldn't be buying and holding this thing. So, you know, I'm sure Adara can tell you what the news is on BlackBerry today. Why it's up 9%. Why this thing is running from $2 to $6. Sharif just jokingly says, Neil, why is BlackBerry up today? I'm like, I don't know. I just hung onto their phone for a very long time, which has nothing to do with how they make money. They make money with software, especially the QNX software, which is one of their.
Do they make money?
Sorry, they have revenue. Their driver of revenues.
They may make money. I didn't ask.
No, that's an apt correction. I am certain that they have revenue from QNX. I am uncertain because I haven't checked
revenues. Yeah.
No, but I actually have no idea if they reported a net positive net earnings last.
And I don't know. They probably do have an EPS.
I wouldn't make the assumption that they do.
Okay. Yeah. Nor would I. Scott, nor would I. Okay, so right there, 346.
Brandon Ingram was making more money than BlackBerry.
Yeah, maybe. Brandon Ingram, he's gonna get paid 40. I think they'll sign him for $40 million per. The NBA.
They did.
Oh, they already did. Oh, they did.
They extended him for the Raptors extended him for 4 years. So 3 years, 120. Yesterday.
Oh, okay. I had heard 40. So okay, good. All right. So that is true. I think it's worth it, man. We got him for nothing. If he's healthy enough, nobody's gonna sign in Toronto anyways. You see that clearly with the Blue Jays. Breaking BlackBerry news. Okay. So Armin just told me there's breaking BlackBerry news with Adara. So let's go over and see this breaking news.
No, there isn't.
there really isn't, but I could talk about the BlackBerry news that broke last night. When I say last night, I mean, oddly enough, this headline came through at 11 p.m., which I've kind of never seen before. But anyway, around 11 p.m., BlackBerry announced that its QNX here has expanded its QNX Everywhere initiative in India through a multi-year partnership with Pi Square Technology. That is the story. Again, oddly coming out at 11 p.m. last night. So it is a day one catalyst. With that in mind, not much pre-market movement, but the second we open, steadily making higher highs, higher lows. Good look for BB.
There you go.
All right. A little bit of BlackBerry action there. We do get some more out of Lyft as that happens. 1351 right there. Good trading on that one. All right. So that was Lyft. We could talk a little bit about Uber. There was somebody in the chat. Oh, yeah. AIFF. That's fine. Big Bear. I think Big Bear. Oh, this was that FINMY name there, that FinMe. It was doing nothing, but I just wonder if there might have been a big print that happened because now it is gone. Like sometimes we get these odd ones on here, like PGHY on this hot list.
You know what I think?
See, it's like this not doing anything. I got to figure out what exactly the trade rate is.
I think the trade rate is
The-
so
like-
low on some
Right.
that if it does anything, it'll pop up
Yeah.
for a couple of minutes.
So you
and
could.
pop.
There's going to be a filter where
There's a filter that I'm not using on that. That's the problem.
I just don't. I'm only looking for the big names. Like there it is, AIFF right now.
Oh, yeah.
We can look at that. So again, this is the trade rate's great. I mean, there's lots of different things that the eSignal platform does provide. We have the scanner for the watch list up there right now. Like honestly, we talk about the sticky note. For me, it's a game changer. I mean, it really lets me guide and give me a clear look at what I'm looking at. But I build it all off the watch list. So not all of it, but at the end of the day, there's always 5 to 10 names at least on that watch list, including small cap runners. So I wanted to bring that up to you guys because scan that watch list right there. It is completely free. I mean, I think we should probably charge for it, but we'll keep it free, completely free there for everybody. And, you know, it just, if you're going to watch the show, those are going to be names that we're going to discuss. And generally speaking, I mean, what's on the watch list today? Tesla. What's on the watch list today? Potentially Apple, SMCI for sure. And these are all big names that I've traded, and they are all the proper, do the ad read for eSignal? Okay, let's just go. I don't need it open. Okay, so let's go. We just went over eSignal right there. So I just think it's really important that everybody trades with the best software and the ones that they can trust. It has nothing to do with you know, the fact that this is a free trial or anything like that. I think you should go there, scan it, try it out for the month. If you don't like it, then forget about it. Get rid of it, right? We just showed you there is an imbalance locator. I actually saw it. I want to go find out what that's all about. We just showed you the scanners. The thing is, you can connect over 50 plus brokers as well. So you can basically learn this platform, get rid of whatever broker you're using, attach it here, trade off the charts. And then Neil's already mentioned earlier too about the support. I mean, the support that's available with eSignal is world-class as well. And then the other thing that I like about it is, for me, the most important thing is that it's entitlement-based. So, you know, we have trade ideas on, and it's a great platform for sure. And those of you that have it know they don't have future. They don't have CME futures on there. You know, so you guys already know that. We love these trade ideas. They're great. Okay. But at the end of the day, if you want something, eSignal will allow you to chart that. And sure, it will be a cost, but that's the cost of doing business, right? So check out eSignal. I'm telling you, man, Neil's already told you it's something that he's going to be using. And then on the midday show, Joe's going to figure out the options.
Tree's already all in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, everyone's there. We like the platform, and we want to thank eSignal again for being part of Tradertv Live. So, yeah, the market's falling back in. And before we go, I'm going to actually go get another drink here quickly. Before we fall back in, Tesla right now, we took that out. So I mentioned to you, we're getting out of Tesla, 346. It was having a problem again. Remember when I mocked myself and basically saying like, can you tell when I get back? And it was just like right in here. But then we don't have to worry about this. And when it comes back up, we get out there. And then we get some out at the top. So it always looking pretty good, right? So I feel like that's something that's trading. And what I put in my toolbox is if it doesn't go, have the ability to get out. Take the money here and then save it for this. You know, like we said, we're the trader who we are, and I hope that you guys can see, you know, $13, $14, $15 in the money. This is not something that happens rarely. we actually pride ourselves on doing this quite often. And I mean, yesterday we had huge moves up in NVIDIA that we had on the show. Neil, we had I think it was $9 winner Tesla yesterday, or even the day before that we held into the after hours. You can go find my Twitter. It's all over it right now. And yeah, it's just, these are the trades. And I just trying to hold more. It's not necessarily working out, but on Apple it did. We were able to hold for these levels. I don't have the very amount of shares up here. We actually only have 2% left all the way up here, but it was a good trade. And at the end of the day, it's just showing you when you're right, you can have these big wins and these decent days. So, you know, stay with it today, man. Today we're 4 wins, 1 loss. It's going to be a good day. And as you had mentioned before, I don't know if this is true for you or not, but for me today, my only losing stock, which is the TQs, which is actually, I'm not embarrassed to show this. I'm actually proud to show this. Like, we at least had this bottom, but we had stopped out. I'm more embarrassed that we don't have this long. So like I said, for me, my biggest losing stock is actually underneath. So for example, I've only lost, let's just say $30 on TQQs, but then every other stock that I've made money on is higher than that $30. So we'll have four stocks that are highest than our biggest loser. All right, so I think that that's the way that I'm going to try to trade this. And like, for example, Tesla right now is, and again, I'm just talking about myself. Tesla right now, it is 5 times the loser that I have on SMCI, on TQs. So that's the difference there. Apple's only double or almost double or more than double the loss, but still that should be better because we should have more shares up there. All right, my stops are already in right now. I don't know, man. We'll talk about maybe who's reporting soon. I know you're in AMD.
I see a few people asking about things that are reporting. I think the biggest names are going to be, I think Reddit. Well, look, obviously everything that reports it moves. There's a lot of big companies reporting tonight. Reddit, Robinhood are a couple of really big ones. AppLovin, those are probably the big 3. We'll go into that in a quick little second. Well, maybe a little bit later. It's actually 3 o'clock now. But I did get into AMD on that reversion, so got in at 40 and 40. I have 2 fills, 40 and 41. So why does my price is actually, 42 and 43. My price is actually 42 and a half. It's not 42. I don't know why. It's so weird. I actually noticed this. When I have a blended half price, it'll like randomly sometimes round up or down. Like my price is 42 and a half. I have a 42 and a 43 fill. So it doesn't even make any sense. But my stop is underneath 30s. My first out was at 1-to-1, and we'll play it into the high of the day, revert in, revert out. BlackBerry's not doing anything. It's exactly, I almost typed in BBAI, which would have been a typo. So we did this trend break, and it hasn't broken the prior high. There's only ever 2 outs. If you break the trend, I'm either going to go with the high of the day or the local high. I tend to prefer the local high. Sometimes I've talked to Obi about this. He likes the high of the day. I tend to think like if it gets and breaks this, I'm not holding it into there where you're likely to have a breakout trade and a little bit of extra slippage, and especially in the afternoon. So for me, when it breaks this trend, closes under, I give it to the local top there at 81, right? So we'll risk about 7 pennies on that, and then we'll try to get some out into VWAP if it comes into the downside.